friends insane persons, and welcome to another episode of Wednesday Whimsy. My name is Kyle, and Wednesday Whimsy is a short show that I do every Wednesday evening where I talk about a board game, a top 10 list, or some other usually game-related topic, whatever happens to be on my mind. Well, I am actually greeting you today in a pre-recorded video because I am on the Dice Tower cruise, at least I hope so, right now. And I'll tell you, one thing you don't want to find on a cruise ship is an assassin. Hey, how's that for a segue, right? I mentioned this last week, but I was talking about Spark Riders 3000, and it got me to thinking, this game's kind of replaced Mansions of Madness for me. What are some other games that have kind of killed or replaced other games? And when I got into it, I thought, well, there's lots of games, right? It's very easy, to sort of find a game and find something that it replaced. That happens all the time, right? Some games iterate or improve upon each other. That's just kind of how games work and how life works. But I thought about it and I thought, well, but there are some games that have killed lots of others, right? That have really improved on a formula so much that I really think they're in a in a class of their own. And so that's what I'm calling board game assassins. These are games that have killed multiple other games. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick 5 of them. I have a great big long list, but I'm going to pick 5 for today, and we'll talk about those. I'll tell you about the game, a little bit about them, and about the games they replaced. And we'll try and keep it not too long. So with that out of the way, let's get going with my number. Oh, I'll say these are in order, but the order is kind of soft. But let's start with number 5. Number 5 is a game that I have not done a full Wednesday Whimsy episode on, but I've talked about a few times. It was part of my top 24 2024. It was part of my quarterly countdown at the end of 2024. This is a game that really kind of came out of nowhere for me. I slept on it a bit, but it has just replaced so many other games that it just belongs on this list, and this game is Harmonies. Harmonies, sort of a pattern building type game where you're going to be selecting tokens from a pool and placing them on a board and trying to complete certain patterns, and then everything that you're using is going to score differently. So mountains score differently from buildings, which score differently from fields and rivers, etc. This was just one that I was really quite enamored with when I finally got around to playing it, and it's kind of my go-to game for this sort of a puzzly style of a game. Here's a picture of it. So what games did it kill? Well, it killed every game that's kind of in this family, and that's Azul. It has sort of Azul. In fact, it almost feels like a combination of Azul and Cascadia, and both of those are dead to me. Now, I say they're dead to me. I'd gladly play them again, but this one, I think it just does them both better. Also Century, like Century Golem or Century Spice Road, and things like Splendor as well. Even though it's not really the sort of engine building that Splendor is, it kind of has that same abstract feel to it. And honestly, I can't see myself ever picking any of those over Harmonies. And so those games have been eaten up by this cute lion on the cover of Harmonies. That is my number 5. Let's go on to number 4. All right, my number 4 is a game that I talk about a lot. In fact, I just got a new expansion for it that I need to get played. This is a game that kind of came out of nowhere in 2023. It was my number 1 game of 2023, and it has replaced kind of every game of this type for me. It's my go-to for these kind of heavy Euro-style, economic-style games with interesting interaction and kind of building yourself up and special abilities. This game is Nucleum. Nucleum is just such a fun, interesting game. It was, a combination of two of gaming's best designers, Luciani and Turzi. And this one, even today, the thought of playing it just makes me so excited. I just got the expansion, which had some, special abilities. I've opened it, but I haven't yet had a chance to try it. I'm looking forward to doing that as soon as I can, but it probably won't be until after the cruise. Anyway, Nucleum has replaced kind of, it's definitely, I often say it feels like a combination of Barrage and Brass. And it's definitely, it kills both of those. I like it better than both of those. If ever I had a chance to play one of those or Nucleum, I'd really probably pick Nucleum. And then the other one, although it was, I think, the game of the year for me the year before, I don't know that I mean, I haven't seen myself going back to it since Nucleum's available, and that's Revive, which I love Revive, and so I'm kind of sad about that. But I mean, Nucleum is the game to go to if I want something that has that sort of economic route building connection contract fulfillment. It's Nucleum. It's Nucleum every time. It's not that great solo, I will say that. I've kind of gone back and forth on the solo, but I've decided I'm currently on the thumbs down for the solo side. So Revive can hang around for that because Revive's better solo. Anyway, I really like Nucleum. I like all those other games, but Nucleum has, I guess, irradiated them. Let's go on to my number 3. Number 3 is one of my most played games. I play this one online a lot, just because it's so easy to play there, but I love playing the physical version too. This game came out in 2021. Very, very tail end. I remember I took it on the 2022 cruise and just played a lot of it. This is a fantastic game. It kind of replaces these kind of card building, engine building type games, things like Terraforming Mars or Wingspan or that sort of a game. It just really comes together nicely, and that game is Ark Nova. Ark Nova, the zoo building game where you're creating a zoo, and look, it's not the prettiest game, I will say that. But I mean, the artwork, it's great. It's just so much fun. I like the sort of opportunities. You've just got this very free flowing feeling where you can do whatever you want, right? You've got this zoo. Your goal is to fill it up. You've got some goals that are going to help you kind of steer you one way or another. But you're building enclosures, putting animals in, focusing on specialists, sponsors, excuse me. And there's just a lot to focus on, a lot to do. And it is so incredibly playable. It is, it's more complicated than some other games. So, you want to be careful with that. It does take a lot of table space, although I have played it at an airport successfully on 2 small tables. It's just such a fun, interesting game. And anytime, if somebody were to come over and say, I want to play Terraforming Mars, I'd be like, okay, we can play it, but have you heard of Ark Nova? Or if somebody said, let's play Wingspan, I'd think about the huge deck of cards that I have to shuffle and think, well, I'd rather shuffle the huge deck of cards in Ark Nova. Just a really fantastic game that's killed kind of all of those. Teotihuacan also, I think, is one that I think this is kind of killed, even though those 2 games are very different. This one, I mean, that's kind of dice and worker movement and stuff, but honestly, this is another one where somebody wanted to play that, I'd say, well, okay, we could, but when was the last time you played Ark Nova? I just love this as a heavy Euro-style game where you're building something up yourself with lots of cards and combos and things to work on. Just a fantastic game. My number 3 board game assassin, Ark Nova. Let's go on to number 2. Number 2 is a game that I don't think I've talked about much on here, and it's kind of a shame. I might have to do an episode about it because it's such a fascinating game. I initially wasn't sure about it because it's a genre that I don't love, which is horror. I'm not really a horror movie kind of guy, but this game is just such a fascinating, fun, interesting style of both hidden movement and one versus many, and that is Terrorscape. Terrorscape, I think it's from Taiwan. This is a game where one person is going to be a killer, and the other players are going to be a team of survivors, and you're both trying to, the killers are trying to kill someone, and these survivors are trying to survive until the police arrive or find a way out of this house. Um, this is a big game. I kind of have to show this picture here because this is the player screen, and it's a huge pain to assemble, but it works really nicely. You can't see the other side, and it's got these sort of mirrored sides so that the players can move in secret. It is tense on both sides of the equation, on both sides of the house. If you're the killer, you're like, I have no idea where these people are, but I'm gonna make a lot of noise and hope that I stumble into them or that they make a mistake, or I'm trying to figure things out. Oh, he could have gone here. As the survivors, you have a lot more freedom to move, and you're doing everything kind of in secret, but there are some things that are going to make noise, and you're trying to sort of do that in a way that gives false leads. It's just such a fascinating game. There are 6 different killers, I think, with the expansion material, and there's more that are coming. It's a small game. It's, you don't have this huge board. Like, I think of, before this, the number one hidden movement game to me would be Spectre Ops, and that you just have this huge grid, and it's very easy to make a mistake, and you got to kind of keep track of things. And the killer player, the one, has a lot of responsibility to make this game enjoyable for everyone else. Whereas this one, it's a small board. It's very easy to keep track of, things. There's not a whole lot of mistakes you can make. Rules are simple, turns are fast, and it's tense and fun and interesting all the way to the end. This one replaces, I mentioned Spectre Ops, replaces Fury of Dracula, replaces Mind Management, any of those hidden movement games, and then also one versus many games, even those that I really like. Like, I don't, any of those, it's hard for me, I'm having trouble thinking of them, but, any kind of a dungeon crawler like a Descent or something of that ilk, where one person is sort of controlling all of the the usually monsters, and the other people are trying to sort of complete their quest, and one person's responsible for the fun of the other people. This game just does it better. It looks good. It's easy to play. It definitely has table appeal. I just really enjoy Terrascape, and it's my go-to of these of games of that type. So there you go. And now we move on to the mass murderer of the evening, at number 1. I guess, Terrascape probably should have been the mass murderer because it's what it's about, is a killer in a house. But the game that has replaced so many other games for me, that's killed so many, that has so much blood on its hands, is Forest Shuffle. Sweet, peaceful Forest Shuffle is a game that I was ready to ignore, mostly because I thought it was a roll and ride or something. There's so many leaves blowing. The Blätterrauschen is what I was confusing it with, or many of these games where you're, doing stuff in a forest. But this game is so punchy. This is a game where you've got cards, and you're going to throw away cards to pay for things, and you're trying to build trees, and then you're trying to populate those trees with the different animals that can live there. And it's just a deck of cards, but the cards each have so many different options that they can be used for, and there's lots of different combos you can make. This game just sings for me. It is so fun. It's not hard to learn. The rules are simple. There's just, on your turn you draw 2 cards or you play one. Simple as can be. Sometimes you activate a bonus effect. I heard that there is a scoring app which solves the one major problem I have, is that it's a little difficult to score. But this game is fantastic. And this game replaces so many others for me. Race for the Galaxy and San Juan, which are both games where you're kind of, using a hand of cards to pay for other cards. It replaces Ares Expedition. um, which is the sort of light terraforming Mars game where, again, you've got all these cards. You're trying to build all these combos. It replaces Glory to Rome, an old game that's hard to find. That's quite fun for me, but really this game does it better than so many others. Anything like that, any of those clever card games where you're building the combos and placing stuff out, this game does it better. I already mentioned that Terraforming Mars was replaced by Arc Nova. This one also, right? I mean, I just, anytime somebody wants to play a game like that, I think of Forest Shuffle, and I think, we could play that bigger game, but I have something that's more interesting, looks better, is faster, and is easier to play, and Forest Shuffle has become just one of my go-to games. I mean, I think I upped its rating to a 10 out of 10 because I like it so much, and I play it so much. It's just, I mean, it has massacred so many other games. This thing needs to be on the most wanted list. Anyway, that's that. I'm gonna end it here because I don't need to go on for hours about these games. I've talked about some of them on their own episodes. But anyway, this is a fun topic I think I'm going to come back to. Like I said, I already have a list of several more. These are just 5 I picked from the list. If you have any board game assassins, these are games that have replaced 2 or more other games for you. You put them in the comments if you want. I've had a good time talking about these. I think this is a fun topic to do sometimes. Maybe it'll be a quarterly event like Quarterly Countdown. Who knows? We'll see. Maybe I'll run out of steam. But yeah, there you have it. And that's going to be where we end things today. I am hopefully playing and discovering fun new games on the cruise. I expect probably next week I'll talk about my experiences on the cruise. We'll see. That seems like the kind of thing I'd probably do. But I hope you're finding great games to play. I mean, there's so many good games to play. These are just 5 of them. I hope you'll find something amazing. And until then, I'm going to wish you safe travels, courage when you need it, and I hope to see you back again next week for another episode of Wednesday Whimsy. Bye-bye.